Let's get into some Celtics rumors by Chat Sports. Let's talk Nikola Vucevic here, Chase. The report is that the big man for the Orlando Magic, who's having a fantastic season, is drawing some interest from some teams, including the Boston Celtics.
The biggest need for the Boston Celtics, and I've actually been really surprised at how poorly they've played, especially their execution down the stretch, given that I think Brad Stevens is one of the best coaches in the league. They've been awful late in the fourth quarter, but their biggest need when I look at their roster as we inch closer to the trade deadline, it's a front court player. Yeah. It's a center. And I look at the market right now, Vucevic would be the perfect player for the Boston Celtics. And as we were getting ready for the show, we were kind of looking at his statistics. Vucevic is kind of putting together a Hall of Fame case. And I think what could really accelerate that process and that discussion is if he goes to a team like the Boston Celtics and he's able to have some postseason success. Look at these numbers, 24.5 points per game, 11.5 rebounds, and what's great about his game is the versatility. Yeah. Not only can he play down low with his back to the basket, he can face up from the elbow, but he can also kind of spread the floor a little bit. He's shooting more than 41% from three, and Vucevic has been doing this for the last several years. It is time for Vucevic to get out of Orlando. He's been hidden in the bunker that has been Orlando for way too long, and in my opinion, the Boston Celtics, if they're looking for an upgrade at the front court, this is the number one option for the Celtics out there to make a trade for. Now, they're going to have to give up a lot because if you're looking at the list of players that you have to trade for that are on the open market potentially, Vucevic is right up there. Yeah. But I love the fit of Vucevic with the Boston Celtics, and I think that he could make the Celtics an immediate Eastern Conference finalist contender.
Yeah, truly one of the best big men in the modern NBA. Like you said, the complete offensive game. Should the Boston Celtics trade for Nikola Vucevic? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm with you, Chase. I think this would be a home run hit. I'm going to go ahead and type my Y on this one, but let us know what you guys think. And I also believe I kind of get some of my input in here as well. Danny Ainge, I'm not going to say he's on the hot seat, but it hasn't been the best 12 months for Danny Ainge. No. He kind of held on to those draft picks forever. I thought he hit a couple of weird buttons during the NBA draft, the Gordon Hayward offseason mess. He had Miles Turner in a sign and trade. They opted not to do that, and you're stuck with the front court of what you have in Daniel Tice and Tristan Thompson, which is pretty mediocre. I think Danny Ainge is under a little bit of pressure to pull the trigger on a move like a Nikola Vucevic. And if you can get him without having to give up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, which I think they're untouchable anyway, I think that's a win for Boston.
And the thing to keep an eye on, too, is that trade exception for Boston.
Yes,
they can absorb around $28 million. That fits them right in line with Vucevic.
Yeah, so we cooked up this trade idea for you guys. It's quite a bit, but again, this is a premier offensive player in the NBA. So the Celtics get Vucevic. The Magic would receive Marcus Smart, who I think after Tatum and Brown probably has the most value on this roster. Peyton Pritchard, Grant Williams, get a front court player back, a rookie who's played pretty well in Pritchard, and then 2 first-round picks. I think that's about what you're going to have to pay if you are a team trading for Vucevic, because it's not like Orlando's just going to give him away. He's got 2-3 more years on that deal. So who wins this trade? Type C for the Celtics, type M for the Magic. Go ahead and weigh in on this one. If I'm Boston, Chase, I'm making a move before the NBA trade deadline.
I know so many Celtics fans see Marcus Smart in a potential trade, and I'm sure they've been hitting the trade machine like crazy because they do need to update that roster. Some Celtics fans concerned about Kemba Walker, but it's the front court vacancy that is the biggest need for the Celtics. Yes, Grant Williams is what Grant Williams is. Robert Williams, a lot of people are excited about him, but he's just an okay bench piece.
Yeah.
They really need Vucevic, and going back to Marcus Smart, he's been the heart and soul for this team, but if that's the player that you need to give up in order to bring a premium player back, you got to make the trade 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, and I agree. Another player that's been linked to Boston here is Jerami Grant, who is a player I like a lot and a player that is probably going to win Most Improved Player this year if he keeps up the current pace. I just question if this is the right stylistic type of player that Boston needs right now.
Well, yeah, because his game and his fit and his position would kind of clash with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
If you're a young basketball fan out there, though, I want you to look and study Jerami Grant's entire career. When he was drafted out of the second round by the Philadelphia 76ers, they took a chance on him because he was seen as an uber athletic prospect who could really jump high, and that was about it. The development in his game, really over the last 3 years, has been similar to the Josh Allen development in the National Football League, where nobody saw a jump like that coming to epic proportions. Jerami Grant, the fact that he is averaging more than 23 points per game is just wild. It's unfathomable. More than 5 rebounds. He's shooting 46% from the floor.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's shooting 36% from 3, that's not something anybody could have predicted when he started his career. He slowly developed a corner three-point shot, but as he has added to his offensive package, Jerami Grant has realistically developed into a top 25-30 player in the league. And you compare him to his brother Jarian, who is a much more highly touted prospect coming out of Notre Dame. Jerami Grant, the contract that the Pistons gave him, totally worth it. So, Grant, you're looking at a guy who is probably going to win the Most Improved Player award, and it's totally worthy because this guy's jump has been unbelievable.
Yeah, the only question I have, and you alluded to it earlier, is Jerami Grant's a 3-and-D guy who could fit anywhere.
Yeah.
But is that what Boston needs? Because their 2 best players are wing players. Now, Jerami Grant's a better defender than Tatum and Brown, but how does that work? I mean, does Brown play the 2, Tatum the 3, Grant the 4? Sure, that doesn't really fit your major front court problem. And that's why if I'm Danny Ainge, I'm still focusing on a guy like Vucevic. I'm exploring a big like Andre Drummond. I'm not saying no to Jerami Grant. I just think there are bigger needs the way this roster is currently constructed. Grant's a great story, though. Like you mentioned, he turned down a contract to return to Denver because he wanted to have a more focal part of an offense. He's proven Detroit right. He's been efficient, and he scored a lot. The problem is they stink, and they're looking to be sellers, so it's very possible he's on the move, and it seemed like the Boston Celtics have shown some interest. So name a player the Celtics should trade for before the March 25th deadline. Go ahead and comment below right now. A couple of names we just gave you, Nikola Vucevic and Jerami Grant, have been rumored, but there's certainly some other names out there, so get your votes in. Let's get into some more NBA rumors here. How about Andre Drummond to the Toronto Raptors? This has kind of been rumored for a couple of weeks now, and I wonder, Chase, as we get closer to the deadline, if the Cavs can find a deal for Andre Drummond.
I actually feel bad for Andre Drummond because he hasn't played the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I want everybody out there to imagine this. Say you have a job that you love and you devote so much time to, and the business that you work for, the company that you work for, just says, you know what, we're going to still keep paying you, but you're not allowed to work. Just sit home until we find a potential trade partner.
That's a bad thing?
I'm a guy. So for some people out there, you might really like to do that. But as I transitioned from my last job to this one, when I walked in here on Monday morning, I was like a kid getting ready for the first day of elementary school, debuting the new attire with the brand new kicks and the brand new outfit. I couldn't wait to work again. And when you're a professional athlete, a lot of people don't realize, man, the devotion that it takes to be a professional athlete. You have to take a maniacal mindset and path to be a professional athlete because you're a 1%er, literally. And for Andre Drummond, I'm sure he wants to play basketball so bad right now. He hasn't been able to. And when you look at the potential fit with the Toronto Raptors, they really miss Serge Ibaka.
Yeah.
So Drummond would be able to step in and fill that Serge Ibaka role. Aaron Baines, he's just not cutting it. And Andre Drummond has actually added to his game over the last couple of years. I know he comes with a hefty price tag, but for the Toronto Raptors, this could be a logical fit.
Yeah, I just wonder. Toronto's kind of on a fringe playoff team right now. There's been Kyle Lowry rumors, maybe shipping him out. I personally think the Raptors should sell. Look, you got a title. The Toronto Raptors won a title. I don't know what else you can really ask yourself. You won a title a couple years ago. You were a legit contender last year. It's obvious that the veteran pieces you have, you probably should let them go. You move Lowry. I don't think trading for Drummond makes a major difference this year. Could he help you win a few games? Possibly. But what's Toronto really going to do in the East? Maybe they get to the 6th seed. I don't think that's a team that can win a championship. I'm selling if I'm Toronto. Now, if I'm Cleveland, I'm taking any trade I can, because otherwise this ends up like Blake Griffin and you just get stuck buying him out. But we'll see what happens there. I just don't really understand what Toronto is trying to do. I get it. You don't want to punt on the now if you don't have to. But you also have to be realistic with yourself. Being in the middle in the NBA is the worst place to be, and that's kind of where they are right now. They're not bad enough to get a top 5 pick, and they're not good enough to contend. So if I'm Toronto, I'm selling pieces. I'm not trading for Andre Drummond, and I'm looking toward the future around guys like Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby. You look at the NBA All-Star game now. Chase, the draft went down last night, and it's entertaining as always. There were some funny things that happened. I got to tell you, though, Team LeBron, I think dunks on Team Durant.
I'm going with Team LeBron in a 7-game series, and I don't even think it's that close. Now, it's crazy what the coronavirus has done to the sports schedule, because we were talking in the office this week and we were like, wait, is the NBA All-Star break coming up? Yeah. After Joel Embiid dropped 40 and 19 against the Utah Jazz, that was the Sixers' last game of the first half of the season. I was watching that and I was like, wow, they don't play again for another few days. That's just crazy. But you look at this roster right here. I'm going with Team LeBron, both the starting lineup and the reserves. Look at this reserve list. Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, Ben Simmons, Jaylen Brown. We continue on with Paul George, Domantas Sabonis, who is one of the most underrated players in the league, by the way. Rudy Gobert, who went, I think, last in that draft last night, as well as Jaylen Brown. Team LeBron over Team Durant, no doubt.
Yeah, and I just look at this, too, and we're just kind of scrolling through the lineups here as we talk. Like, Kevin Durant's not a future GM. Let's just get that out there. He's soft by drafting his boy Kyrie with his first pick.
You knew that was going to happen.
Loyalty's out the window for the All-Star break, but apparently not when you're How about this? Durant's only loyal when it's the All-Star game. Any other time, guy's not loyal at all. Makes no sense whatsoever. I ain't Team LeBron if they actually care. We never know with the All-Star break. I think it's blowout city. I think they're going to crush Team Kevin Durant here on Sunday night.
Yeah, Team Durant. We go to Team Durant, James Harden, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Zach LaVine. So, look, this is what it comes down to, and people can hop in the comment section if you want. Which All-Star squad do you like? And we want you to type your comments in the comment section. If you like Team LeBron, we want you to type LBJ. If you like Team Durant, type KD. Obviously, it's the All-Star game, man. So both teams are going to be stacked, but if you have to pick one, I think it's Team LeBron. I think he did a better job of rounding out the roster, picking some of the better players. But we look at the comment section right now, it seems overwhelmingly that the audience is going with Team LBJ. So that means that everybody out there is smart, because you're agreeing with me, Chase, and him, Harrison.
Exactly. Team LeBron all day. I'm getting my LBJs in the comments.